Red Bull Homeground literally should prove to Riot that we need more Valorant events in New York City. 100%. What an event! So to anyone who doesn't know and whatnot, Red Bull Homeground World Final was this past weekend in the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. I went with my cousin. He isn't really exactly into Valorant like that anymore, but he still at least appreciates the game and the esports scene, so he went along with me. And if anything, it was actually funny because we were actually supposed to go together to Toronto. Unfortunately, other stuff happened to the point where I went by myself to Toronto, which was perfectly fine. It was still a great trip, even though it was by myself. But this time he went. When tickets went out for Homeground, I was in Toronto. So I legit called him and was like, yo, dude, let's go. Come on, let's go. There's just no way. We have to go. And he agreed. First off, I just want to say quick shout out to Plat Chat. They had an amazing live episode at OS New York City. Very cool to meet Shayo, Sideshow, Avas, Bala, and Mimi. So cool to meet them. Saw a couple pro players there. Tens was there. Zelsis, Emi was there. It was very cool to see Valen, Josh RT, the player and coach for G2. That was so dope. That was a great experience because it was legit just on a Wednesday night and I took off for it. Like I literally left work early, went to New York City. It was so funny just listening to a Plat Chat episode live because it honestly just felt surreal, but at the same time I also kind of had to make up for the fact that I didn't go to the Toronto one because the Toronto one was literally the day before I fly in, so I couldn't exactly make it. So there was just no way I was gonna go ahead and miss this one. But yeah, it was a great fun time just to listen to everybody just yapping about whatever, you know, just listening to everybody, and had a couple drinks, so that was great. So meet and greet was fun and just the vibes were just overall just great. So shout out Plat Chat, shout out OS NYC. Now in regards to the actual event on Saturday and Sunday, so the tickets that I bought were 2-day passes. It was a very busy weekend, man. Very busy weekend because there were just a lot of things. Some family came over, so we kind of had to work things around, but it still worked out in the end. You know, we went to the city. For the first day, we sat up in the balcony where we had actually a pretty decent view of the players, some co-streamers, and a pretty good view of the ground crowd. So that was actually very interesting. But just seeing like a live Valorant event again, second time this year, was just so surreal. It was my cousin's first time seeing a live event as well, because we actually both went to the block party that Tarek hosted last year in New York as well, but that wasn't exactly live because, you know, it was still a co-stream and the players were still in LA, so that was just the whole thing. But watching the games just felt so surreal, even though they were basically both stomps because NRG and G2 just stomped the hell out of Zeta. But other than that, though, it was a very fun time for the first day. But the second day was the most fun of it all because the second day was obviously the grand final, G2 versus NRG. My prediction was NRG 3-1. My cousin's prediction was G2 3-2, but we did not expect at all G2 3-0, which is honestly fair enough. You know, I was not expecting that at the slightest. Then it kind of hit me after map 1 where Corrode was won by G2, and I'm like, oh wow, they're just gonna win on US soil once again. But yeah, this time though, we had ground seats. Ground seat experience was very interesting. I won't lie, it was definitely a little bit more uncomfortable only because of the seats being so like close to each other. It was still a very fun time. Shout out to the guy who we were just sitting next to. I think his name was like Justin. I don't know if you're seeing this, man, but you were pretty cool to talk to and just pretty cool to just be around and whatnot. Opening ceremony? I didn't even know that there was opening ceremony, and this like House of Protection played, and holy, like they played a couple of songs, and then the entrances where the players came out from the crowd, so cool, and my cousin was also just headbanging too. But yeah, it was so fun, man. It was so fun. I honestly didn't know that there was an opening ceremony. I didn't know that they were going to perform. And I also, for some reason, just did not know that there was a show match between Team Ludwig and Team Tens, where the Team Tens team was just Just absolutely crazy because it's just like, it's just too stacked. It's just too stacked. But there were a lot of jokes about that, but it was very fun. All the vibes were great. So many people were there. It was basically a full house. You know, G2 won it, and that was pretty cool to witness, you know, seeing a trophy lift, just seeing everything. It was so cool. It was not a VCT official event, but still, this is literally why we need more events like this. Speaking of which, you know how I was talking about earlier about how Riot really should be hosting more Valorant events in New York City. Here was my sign while I was on the ground floor on the second day. It says, Champs in New York City 2027. Please, Riot. As everybody may know, or maybe you don't know, they already announced that Champs 2027 is going to be held in the Americas. And maybe people also don't exactly know. There is a pattern from where League of Legends Worlds is happening to Champions. Anybody who doesn't know. So Worlds 2022 was in San Francisco on the West Coast for its final, while Champions 2023 was in LA. Then in 2023, Worlds was in South Korea. Champions 2024 was in South Korea, right? You see where I'm going with this? And then Worlds 2024 was basically in like Europe, but at some point it went to London and then Paris, right? Champions 2025 held in Paris. And then the kicker is that they already announced where Worlds 2026 is going to be, and that is going to be in Allen, Texas and New York City. We don't know where the final is going to be held at, but the fact that New York City is literally there in for Worlds 2026 kind of believes me that Champions 2027 in New York, you know, all I'm saying. Here's the kicker though, and this is a very funny story, right? Very funny story. So I may have played a part in making Champions 2027 potentially be in New York City. Okay, that's crazy thing to say, I know. When you read my sign here, it says Champs in New York City 2027. Please, Riot. And so after one of the maps in the grand final of Red Bull Homeground, Golden Boy, who is on the desk, he's like one level above us, and he was like reading out signs. He was like seeking out signs, and I went in his direction and I pointed my sign, and he looks, he reads it, and then he gives me the thumbs up. But then Leo Fario was there, who is the global head of Valorant esports, right? And so I motioned Golden Boy, be like, get Leo, please get Leo. And then he walks over to Leo because Golden Boy was like a couple steps away from where Leo was sitting at. So he motions Leo to look at my sign, and then he was like, look at his sign. He look at his sign. And then I literally point like this. I'm like, please, 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 please. He looks at me, he like laughs. He's like, haha. And then he gives me the, like that. I was like, please, please. They may have obviously already have it planned out already, but I'd like to think that if Champions 2027 is in New York City, I hope I helped the decision somehow, some way. It was honestly a surreal feeling just to see Leo even acknowledge it. Again, he literally looked at it, he read it like this, and he was like, ha ha ha. So now if you want my headcanon with this, he probably saw that and he was like, he probably knows, you know, he probably put this up and said, I got you. Gotcha. I don't know when, but I'm hoping it's Champions 2027. That was very cool to witness, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that was basically my experience there at Red Bull Homeground. Met Ryan, pretty cool, man. He has sources, I just know it. Yeah, that was a very nice experience, but once again, if this is just another plea to bring more Valorant events to New York City, I swear, man, we were on top with everything. The crowd was in with it. Just everybody was just so into it. So please, Riot, if you're somehow like watching this, Leo Faria, if you're somehow just stumble upon my video just talking about Red Bull Homeground, please, I beg of you guys, please bring Champions 2027 to New York City. We will not disappoint you guys in the slightest. And I actually have 4 reasons. I have 4 reasons really quick. 1, I'm 99% certain that the block party last year was a test run because that was a free event. 2 is that the Hammerstein Ballroom is a great venue for the group stage. Right, Riot? You hear what I'm saying, right? Number 3, Riot also has 2 arenas to choose from, which are the Barclays Center in Brooklyn or obviously Madison Square Garden. My fourth reason is that because New York City is so accessible to everybody, people are going to fly in just to watch some Valorant. Swear to God they will. They will 100% fly in for some Valorant. It doesn't matter where they're from. They will come all over from any sort of continent, from any sort of country. They will come over and actually watch some Valorant, and I swear to you, people are going to fly over for that stuff. Which is why, once again, Riot, please, champs in New York City, man, we will not disappoint you. We will not disappoint you, man. We won't. We legit won't. We won't disappoint you. But anyways, that's me. Very fun event, and I hope we have more in the future.
Oh God. G2 fight their way through backside.